Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. We are talking about my fastest growing plants today, just in case, you want to buy a plant that grows really fast. Fair warning, these are pretty much all vining plants in some capacity. I don't really have a lot of plants that grow faster than my vining plants, I guess. First up is this beautiful green Tradescantia. I'm not super familiar with the Latin names, I guess, of Tradescantia. I will try to look it up for you, though, so that we can talk about this beauty. I found her in one of those take a plant, leave a plant stands that someone around the corner from me was doing during the pandemic. And I grew her out, I think, from maybe a couple of strands that were like this long, and they were just like climbing up the wall up there about on that shelf behind me, and then I chopped her up, put her in soil, and I've been just picking pieces off and plopping them back in the soil, and now she's a very, very full 3 or 4 inch pot. I'm not mad at it. It's only been like a year or so, maybe a year and a half. I don't remember when the gal was still doing that take a plant, leave a plant stand, but I don't think she's doing it anymore, which is a bummer. But yeah. So there's number 1, my Tradescantia over here. And I'm going to just preface by saying that most Tradescantia grow pretty dang quickly. I have had a few that don't grow this quickly, but yeah, most of them grow pretty quickly. This one might surprise you guys. This is my Burl Marx variegated plant, and when I first got it, it was just this leaf right here, which is beautiful. And then this leaf and this leaf both popped out basically exactly the same time. This one does not look like it has any real variegation. Even if it needed to save its life, it wouldn't have any variegation on it. So it might be reverting already, which is kind of a bummer, but if it is, I will make it work because it's still a gorgeous, crazy, fun plant. And I want it to grow up this moss pole, reverted or not. And I've seen plenty of people whose Burl Marx variegated like revert on one side. I think they're talking too fast and not breathing enough. I believe it is chimeral variegation with Burl Marx variegata, which means that half of it could be variegated and half of it could not, like going up the stem. So the nodes on one side could have variegation and the nodes on the other side might not be variegated. It's very strange, but it does make for a lot more excitement when growing out a new plant. And yeah, like I said, this plant is on this list because I know, first of all, I know many other YouTubers have said this is a really fast growing plant, and I have had it since, I don't know, October of last year, October 2022. And it's already put out 2 new leaves plus a 3rd one on the way already. So that'll be 3 leaves in October, November, December, January, in 4 months. Which, I mean, the fact that it came as an unrooted cutting, and an unrooted 1-leaf cutting has become an almost 4-leaf rooted plant in 4 months. It's not bad. it bodes well for when it actually feels established in this pot and on the moss pole. So that's number 2. Let's see, number 3 is this guy, surprisingly enough. I know he looks like Dookie, very well aware. But I mean, look at this. It's so beautiful. And weird, and like weirdly viney. Yeah. I have actually propagated this plant plenty of times too. And I'm always really impressed. This regular version of the rabbit's foot, the non-variegated version, which is this, of the rabbit's foot maranta or leucanura, has grown prolifically for me. It only has a couple of its original leaves here, and most of them are all much smaller, which is bizarre since this lives under a grow light. I don't know. It grows really fast. I've propagated it tons of times, and it is always putting out new leaves, like this one here, and this little plantlet coming out here. It's very hard to see what I'm showing you guys. I need to get like a monitor set up so I can see what I'm showing you, basically. But yeah, marantas, surprisingly quick growing. That's number 3. And since you can see this one over in the corner here, this massive plant, well, not massive leaved, but whatever. It's got a lot of them. This is my Monstera laniata, or at least that's what it was sold to me as. If you know better, please tell me, but also tell me how beautiful and shiny these leaves are, because holy crap, I love it. I have moss up here. I think I mentioned this in another video. It doesn't seem to be helping at all, but I'm not mad at it. This, I have taken so many propagations of this mother plant. I have, wow, probably sold the most Monstera laniata out of anything else in my collection. These cuttings, I just took these today. These both have some roots. This obviously would not. And then of course here's another laniata propagation. Yeah, like I said, I definitely think I have sold the most Monstera laniata out of all the things that I've taken propagations of and sold. I think the only thing I've ever taken more cuttings of is probably number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on my list of most prolific growing plants. This little cutie pie, my philodendron micans. She's got beautiful purpley magenta backs on these leaves, which is interesting. I think these must be newer leaves because they have like kind of a bronzy gold kind of color on the front when they're new, and translates to a kind of a red back, which is gorgeous. Man, I don't even remember where I got this. I've had it for ages. I think maybe I got it from Facebook Marketplace as a couple of cuttings that just really liked me. And I don't know why I have this in my kitchen, because it's one of my favorite plants and I never really come in here unless I'm like filming. But yeah, if you want a plant that grows prolifically, philodendron micans is wonderful. If you can get it to establish itself, because I have killed a couple of heartleaf philodendrons and or micans. This is years of growth and a box full of propagations. Yeah, so number 5 is philodendron micans. Let's see. Number 6 is this little old lady right here. I have had this plant since pre-pandemic days, if I recall correctly. It was actually a rescue. It was in a pot, in a little cup with no drainage, if I remember correctly. And now it's this big old thing that I've taken many propagations of. And she's a little unhappy right now because I literally just watered her after. I mean, I bottom watered her once just in case, right after that repotting video I just did. But I haven't really watered her since, and definitely not thoroughly yet. So she's a little floppy. But again, my little white butterfly syngonium, very, very easy plant. I really, really enjoy the crazy growth pattern. I don't know if you can tell, but that's kind of a thing among my plant collection. I mean, I do have like a lot of prayer plants and, you know, I guess I kind of have a lot of aroids in general. That's just kind of my thing. Hoyas are okay. They're not really for me, but I love aroids and anything in the Tradescantia family, apparently. Excuse me. And I think we're going to close this video out on my 7th plant, which is this. It's my Monstera siltepecana. And this has long been one of my favorites. It is so beautiful. I love all the texture that you can see in the leaves. I love the crazy growth pattern. Like, I mean, look at her. She definitely looks like she wants to be climbing up something kind of like this, which is why I put cuttings of her on a moss pole. I'll go grab that real quick. This is my Monstera laniata cuttings that I put on a moss pole. As you can tell, they have like doubled in number of leaves, I think, since that video, and that was only, gosh, November maybe? Or when I put out that painful video of me trying to figure out these moss poles, which I love, by the way. These are awesome moss poles. They keep moisture in because the back is pretty solid, and the front has room for, you know, roots to stick in there. And I don't have to deal with wires or wire cutters or any of that stuff. I'm not too sure how a chop and extend would work with one of these. But we're gonna burn that bridge when we get there. For now, I'm just enjoying how nice my Monstera siltepecana, I almost called it a laniata again because I have so many of them. They do look really similar. I mean, not like identical, obviously, but I think the siltepecana has more texture to the leaves. The actual like leaf. This one's more of like a ribbed, and this has more of like a embossed and ribbed kind of texture. But yeah, those are my 7 fastest growing plants. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you made it all the way to the end of the video and you got inspired or learned something new, comment down below or smash that like button. Remember to subscribe if you want to see my face more often in your feed. All right, you guys, have a great day, night, morning, whatever time of day it is where you are when you're watching this. Love you all. Goodbye.